Hey guys, sorry that cut you off. I ran out of time on that video, so I just have a few more things to cover. So this is going to be part 2 of our sentence video. You might notice that when I've been taking notes and typing on here that I actually am not writing incomplete sentences or thoughts or anything like that because it's notes. Notes are supposed to be your ideas, things that help you remember the information, and as we progress through taking notes, you will be coming up with more things on your own and writing things more in your own words. So, moving to, we just finished dependent clauses, moving to conjunction. So, plus sign is what's used in a sentence to represent a conjunction. A conjunction is something that combines two clauses together, or to use to combine multiple things together in a list. But conjunctions that can be used to combine two clauses together are the fanboys. Not to be mixed up or confused with fangirls. Those are very, very different. Fanboys are it's just a, I forget what it's called. But anyways, it represents other words. So fanboys is just a way to remember the following. For, and, nor, but, or, yet. So, those are the conjunctions that you can use to combine two clauses together. And, of course, is the most common used one, so is probably the most used incorrectly one. Yet and for are rarely used, but you will learn how to use them better in the years to come. So, now that we know what these keys mean for sentences, the next page will make much more sense. The next page is our 4 types of sentences. Sentence 1 is a simple sentence. Sentence 2 is compound. Then we have complex, then compound complex. Make sure you write those 4 things on the left-hand side of your notes. On the right-hand side, you should copy down these symbols exactly as they are written. So, there's only one way to do a simple sentence. It is one I. If you look back at the notes you just took, an I represents an independent clause. So if a simple sentence is one I, that means you have one pair of subject-verb. Only one pair. If you have 2 subjects but 1 verb, you still have 1 pair. So you have an independent clause. So, one independent clause, one subject-verb combo that stands by itself is called a simple sentence. A compound sentence is when you have 2 independent clauses together. And you have a couple ways to do that. So notice that there is a plus sign here. That means a conjunction. You can use any of your conjunctions of the fanboys to combine your 2 I's together. There is a comma here. These symbols here actually are the actual punctuation that you use when doing a compound sentence. So you have an independent clause, comma, a conjunction, another independent clause, then a period. Okay. The other way to do a compound sentence is with a semicolon. A semicolon is exactly what it looks like, a period, comma, combination. So you have a period, you have a comma, them together makes a semicolon. It functions as a period because it's ending an independent clause, and it functions as a comma because it's saying, hey, I have more information. So, semicolon is used to combine 2 independent clauses that are very, very related to each other. Again, independent clauses, one subject-verb combo. So if you have a subject-verb combo, a semicolon, and then another subject-verb combo, you have a compound sentence. A complex sentence is a independent clause and a dependent clause together. Remember how we just said when Yoshi ran is dependent. It does not make sense by itself. That is dependent clause. So, D, comma, I would look something like this. When Yoshi ran. Let me make that bigger here so I can keep typing. Comma, he fell. Period. The dependent clause is at the first part here, when Yoshi ran. Then the independent clause is he fell. We still have a subject-verb combo, subject-verb combo, but the when has made the first dependent on the next. It's dependent. It needs the independent clause to be a complete thought. So the other way of doing this would just be Yoshi fell when he ran. To reverse the order of it, and then if you reverse the order and the dependent clause is second, you don't need a comma. So keeping that in mind, let's go back to simple, because I forgot to do this. Yoshi ran. Simple sentence. Independent clause, dependent clause. Compound sentence. Yoshi ran and he fell. Period. That's one way, or with the semicolon. Yoshi ran, semicolon, he fell. Period. Okay, now compound complex. These, as you hopefully have figured out by now, are combinations of the top two. It's a combination of complex and a combination of compound. You both have a compound sentence, two independent clauses, and a complex because there is a dependent clause involved. So taking this, when Yoshi ran, he fell, here, to demonstrate the first one, we have when Yoshi ran, comma, he fell, comma, and he broke his leg. Oh, sad Yoshi. Oh, no. So we have compound complex because we have a dependent clause, an independent clause, which is he fell, and then a comma, conjunction, another independent clause. So we have a D-I, comma, conjunction, I. And you can do that in any of the 4 ways outlined here. Okay. Moving on. Let's look now at how to label these type of sentences. So the same thing that we had over here, because tomorrow you'll need to be able to label these, or tomorrow, it depends on when you watch this video, but next on Thursday, pretty soon, you will have to be able to label these. So let's talk about what that means and how to do that on the computer. Again, in your notes, left-hand side, simple, compound, complex, compound, and then on the right, we will, I will put some things down and you can copy that. So on the right-hand side, we have a simple sentence, which again would be one subject, one verb, that is all. Yoshi fell, or sorry, Yoshi ran, period. Now to label that, we need to label the subject and the verb and the clauses. Those are the 2 things that, the 3 things, sorry, that need to be labeled just to represent what type of sentence it is, so that you are recognizing what makes it that type of sentence and what type of sentence it is. So a simple sentence should have one subject, so Yoshi is the subject, and one verb, ran is the verb, and it should be, sorry, I keep pushing the wrong one, and it should be one independent clause. If we go compound, it's going to be Yoshi ran and he fell. We have subject, verb, conjunction, subject, verb, independent clause, independent clause. So when you label sentences on Google Docs, you will label very similar to what I'm just doing. You put the S under the subject, V under the verb, and the I under in between the 2 to represent the clause, and the I to represent the clause. So then you would have the same thing happening here. When Yoshi ran, he fell, period. We have when, which is making it dependent. We have a subject, a verb, a subject, a verb, a dependent clause, and an independent clause. Compound complex, when Yoshi ran, he fell and broke his leg. Sorry, and he broke his leg. Then again, we have subject, verb, subject, verb, subject. Stop, go back. What is happening? No. Sorry. I don't know what just popped up over here. Ignore that. Subject, verb. Dependent clause, independent clause, independent clause. So in a simple sentence, you only have one clause. In a compound, you have two. In a complex, you have two, and one has to be dependent. In a compound complex, you have three, and one has to be dependent. The last thing that I'm going to talk about here before this video is over is introductory clause / interjection. When this doesn't change any of the types of sentences here at all, but it's a little bit more advanced of a style of sentence. So it's not changing one of the structures, it's just a stylistic thing to do. So an introductory clause is something that's introducing what you're about to say. You can have just an introductory phrase or a word, or you can have a whole clause that introduces what you're about to say. An introduction can be as simple as a transition word like, for example. That is a transition word. For example, Yoshi loves to run. However, another introduction word, he falls often, period, right? So to do a introductory phrase in other ways instead of just a transition word, you could really say just about anything. Although Yoshi likes to play, he likes running more. This is actually a dependent clause that is using an introductory phrase. Although Yoshi likes to play is an introduction to the sentence he likes running more. An interjection is slightly different. It's kind of like an introductory phrase, but instead of it being at the beginning, you put it anywhere in the middle. You could say Yoshi loves to run, comma, for example. You could say Yoshi, when running, falls often. Notice that in interjections, they are always separated with commas. Okay? Well, that's it for now, guys. And we will go over some of these examples more in class and practice them. Please watch these videos and take notes. You may rewatch as many times as you need.